everybody, and welcome to another episode of College Football Takeover. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It is Big Ten Wednesday. But before we dive into all that, let's get to the trivia question of the day. The category is the run game. Which Panther holds the team's single-season records for rushing yards and touchdowns? Is it A, Donta Foreman, B, Christian McCaffrey, C, Chuba Hubbard, D, D'Angelo Williams, or E, Jonathan Stewart? I will repeat the question. The category is the run game. Which Panther holds the team's single-season records for rushing yards and touchdowns? Is it A, Donta Foreman, B, Christian McCaffrey, C, Chuba Hubbard, D, D'Angelo Williams, or E, Jonathan Stewart? Put your answer in the comments. I'll answer that at the end of the episode. Today's football birthdays are John Kondo, Donnie Shell, Ron East, and Barrett Robbins. So happy birthday to those gentlemen. Those are your football birthdays and your football trivia question for Wednesday, August 26th. 2026. So, I might change up what we talk about exactly on these conference-a-day stuff. We're still going to talk about the Big Ten today, right? We're still going to talk about all that stuff. But I will say, it's not very fun just talking about every single team briefly. Let's just talk about the biggest storylines, right? So, Michigan State, I don't know, is there much to touch on with them? Jonathan Smith was a dumpster fire. So you fired him. You got Jonathan Smith out of the way, right? Okay, Jonathan Smith was gone. And then now they bring in Pat Fitzgerald, longtime coach for Northwestern. I think they fired him for cause, so not necessarily because of just losing. And it kind of went from there. Hopefully things can be as good as they were in 2021 when they went 11-2 Peach Bowl champions. Hopefully they can get back to that. Illinois, last year was a disappointment. Everyone had him as their dark horse. I didn't have him as my dark horse, but I had him making the playoffs because I wasn't like, hey, if everyone's saying they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to be the dark horse, they're not a dark horse. But I think I heard that somewhere. But it had all started to look bad when, yes, Indiana went on to be the 16-0 national champions, but when they came into their house and they lost 63-10. I was at the Vanderbilt Georgia State game then, and it was woo-wee. I was upset. Or I wasn't upset, not like woo-wee upset. But woo-wee was that a bad game. Like, woo-wee was that horrible. A lot of woo-wees right now. But that was rough, and they went, 9-4, beat Tennessee down here in Nashville in the Music City Bowl. So there was some fun stuff, but also some not so fun stuff came out of that. Losing by 53 points to Indiana was crazy. UCLA brings in Bob Chesney. Maybe last time team hired a James Madison coach, it was Indiana, and Signetti won him a national championship. So UCLA's hoping for those same results. They got a little bit better, like they beat Penn State. Things improved a little bit. People got excited. But ultimately, is Nico Imaliva that good? Because people think he's great. He got Tennessee to the college football playoff. Oh, wait, Tennessee 3 times that season got shut out in the first half. They only lost one of those games, but 3 times that season they were shut out in the first half. He wasn't that good. We are just going by every team. Purdue, don't care. I mean, Barry Odom year 2, 1-11 last year under Ryan Walters, or last season that they had under Ryan Walters. Last season, the first season under Barry Odom, it kind of was confusing there, 2-10. So not really an improvement. Started out 2-1, but then once conference hit, oh yeah, no, trash. Purdue has a long way to go to be relevant again. Oregon, people are saying this is gonna be a season to absolutely remember, right? This is their year. Dan Lanning's gonna break through, right? When I did my preseason top 10 with the highlight clips back in early June, I had him number 1. Changed them to number 2 in my official entirety preseason top 25. The biggest concerns are you lost your offensive coordinator, Will Stein. He took the Kentucky head coaching job, and then you lost your defensive coordinator, Tosh Lupoy. He went and took the California coaching job. Well, David Pollack mentioned they have a fantastic D-line, and it's returning from last year. So you got the D-line, you have a wide receiver coming back who's like injured, you've got a wide receiver coming back from a mission, so you've got things happening, and you got Donnie Moore. Just in case anything bad happens with Donnie Moore, you've got Dylan Raiola. You've got a heck of a coach in Dan Lanning, top 4 coach in college football, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's a chance. They are just rolling. There is a chance Oregon comes out of the gate and they're just rolling. Sneaky week 2 matchup at Oklahoma State. Touched on that a bit on Big 12 Monday, I'm pretty sure. That's sneaky. Sneaky stuff going on there. And then trip to Ohio State, trip to USC. They got some trippy games. They host Washington, I think. So they've got some trippy stuff going on. We shall see what happens with Oregon, but this could very well be their year, because year 1 went 10-3 under Lanning. Year 2 improved to 12-2. Year 3 made the quarterfinals, improved to making the playoffs. Year 4 improved to the semifinals. If that keeps up, sorry folks, you're losing in the national championship. If that keeps up. Minnesota, always consistent. PJ Fleck always wearing the tie, all that. You can count on a bowl game. Like, PJ Fleck's a solid coach. PJ Fleck's a coach who I like. He's a good coach. He knows what he's doing down there. He's been there for like 12 years. He's been there a while, especially based on how a lot of coaches have not been at their respective school for a super long time. But it'll be fun. Minnesota will be decent. Win 6 to 8 games. Not really CFP conversation, I don't think. But they can be really good. Washington, Damon Williams Jr. is back. Things are getting going in year 3 under Jed Fish. Last year went, 9-4, won their bowl game. I think they went 8-4 regular season. They had that embarrassing loss to Wisconsin. You host Iowa, which is nice, but you got to go to Oregon. You don't have Ohio State's not on your schedule. You host Penn State, I think. So it's manageable. Preseason 17 in the poll. That is sweet. They got a shot. Jed Fish was turned around to Arizona, and first year in Washington, taking over for the defending national champion runner-ups, was bad because they lost everything. They lost Michael Penix Jr. They lost their top 3 wide receivers, including Rome Odunze. So, but he's built things up. They were good last year. Expect a good season out of Washington. Excuse me. Wisconsin. I'm hearing Josh Payton. I think it is saying, hey, I don't think he thinks Fickle's getting fired because he thinks they could be good. I don't know. I think it's time to move off of Fickle. But 4-8 last year, 5-7 the prior year. Wisconsin's a team that always makes bowl games. So past 2 years they aren't. That's a concern. I don't know what to think of Wisconsin. It is interesting for sure what's going on with Wisconsin. Maybe they can be solid. Bringing a new quarterback, people are excited about because they've had quarterback issues down there. Northwestern, in the Q&A, someone asked me, can Northwestern be good with new stadium, new money, David Braun, all that? And I said they'll continue to be on the uprise. Dave Braun went, I think, 8-5 year 1, 4-8 year 2, but 7-6 year 3. I don't think they'll be national title contenders, but David Braun's doing a heck of a job taking over for Pat Fitzgerald, who was there a while. So I have excitement about David Braun and Northwestern. USC, I feel like this could be a breakout year. It stinks. You lost Jada Maeva. He won the Bekinaloff, which is the award for top wide receiver in college football. But Jada Maeva's back. You get... See, last year they lost 3 games in the regular season. 4 in total because they lost to TCU in the bowl game. But 3 in the regular season. Illinois, that was a game... I'm so glad they lost because I like Illinois, but people are going to be like, hey, they should have won that game. And either way, they don't have to go to Illinois. They might have Illinois on their schedule, though. They lost against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not on the schedule, as we all know that whole thing. They lost against Oregon. This time they get Oregon at home. Ohio State is added to the mix, but you get Ohio State at home on Halloween night. And you get Penn State. It's on the road, but Penn State, I don't think they're as good as USC, so it's playoff or bust. Like, if they make playoffs, here's my opinion. If you miss out on playoffs, Lincoln Riley gets fired. If you make playoffs, Next year, Lincoln Riley's not necessarily safe, but he keeps a job. If you win a playoff game, things get really cool down there. Nebraska. Last season, I think Josh Pate even had them in his like mid-season college football playoff bracket last year, and then things went south. Dylan Raiola got hurt against USC. They got upset against Minnesota on a Friday night. Well, Dylan Raiola's gone. Which, if Dylan Raiola was still there, I'd be getting excited. And remember, the whole thing was at Temple and at Baylor. That rule, his teams got really good. The breakthrough year was year 3. Well, that didn't happen. And Nebraska fans are waiting. They're like, okay, we've waited patiently. Well, now Dylan Raiola's gone. I don't know what to think. If Raiola was still there, I'd be like, dark horse. Not so much anymore. I don't know what to think about them. Ohio State, I made a short on this about 2 months ago. 6-6? I wouldn't go that far, but they have a brutal schedule. At Texas, hosting Illinois, at Iowa, at USC, at Indiana, hosting Oregon, at Nebraska, hosting Michigan. It gets scary. At Iowa, scary. We'll talk about Iowa actually right next after this. But it's sneaky, maybe 9-3, 10-2. Like at USC, at Iowa, I upset. At Texas, potentially a loss. Like they could be 3-2, folks. Thankfully, Oregon and Indiana's at home. Michigan's at home. Illinois' not that trippy. Nebraska's not that trippy. But scary stuff could happen. Because 2 years ago, Nebraska almost went into Columbus and won. We're going to spend some time on this next team. The Iowa Hawkeyes. What to think? Oh, Iowa, they can never change. Oh, yes, no. Iowa, always going to be the same, right? 8-10, like 8 wins, bowl game, defense, no offense, right? They can change. Last year, 4 games, they lost. All 4 were against top 25 teams at the time. Iowa State did not end up being a top 25 team. Iowa State, they lost to by 3 points. Indiana by 5 points. Oregon by 2 points. USC by 5 points. Well, USC, it was a 4th down. The Iowa player almost got his foot in. If he gets it in, they almost score a touchdown. If Donnie Moore does not throw a perfect pass, Oregon does not get in to walk up to a game-winning field goal range. These are simple stuff, guys. Iowa was probably a play away from winning all those games. So let's just say two plays go differently, like those 2 who I just mentioned. They make the college football playoff. Unfortunately, they have the lowest returning production in the Big Ten, so it's not like coming back, one last run. This time we're going to make the difference. But they got the best defensive coaching staff in Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker. Best defensive duo. So, looking at the schedule versus Northern Illinois, a win versus Iowa State. Iowa State's fallen off. Iowa's at home. It's prime time. Revenge. Back-to-back losses against Iowa. That's a win. Northern Iowa, a win. At Michigan. Bryce Underwood was bad last year. Hopefully, for Michigan fans, Kyle Whittingham can bring the best out of him. But that defense can absolutely maul Bryce Underwood. Versus Ohio State, you get the home field advantage, folks. Ohio State might already have a loss against Texas. They might be sitting there 3-1 being like, if we lose this game, we're 3-2. Pressure gets to them and they lose that game. At Washington, it's a short week. It's a Friday. I'm not sure they can win that. So let's say 5-1. Bye week at Minnesota versus Wisconsin. At Northwestern versus Purdue. At Illinois versus Nebraska. All 6 of those feel like wins. 11-1. This is the breakthrough for these Iowa Hawkeyes. They play for a Big Ten title and win a national championship. I don't think this is my official prediction, but I'm feeling the good vibes for Iowa right now. I am feeling the good vibes for my Iowa Hawkeyes. Born in Iowa, a Hawkeye fan forever. Let's go. I am feeling the good vibes about an 11-1 season. It's trippy, but at Michigan, you can handle that. Ohio State, you can handle that. It's in kidding. I'm a Buckeye fan. That is the only game I want Ohio State to lose. I will be rooting for Iowa. At Washington, I don't know, though. But it's unfortunate that there are only 3 true hard games. Or 3 in a row, but they can do it. 11-1. Let's go. Potentially. Next up, Rutgers. Oh my goodness. Don't know what to think. They have a longtime coach there. I don't know. Things are just not good there. Don't even know what to say about Rutgers. I don't know. Michigan. Can Kyle Whittingham do good in year one? Can he do his job? And can they improve with Bryce Underwood? They have a brutal schedule versus Iowa, versus Oklahoma, at Ohio State. Like, it's trippy. Indiana comes to town. Penn State comes to town, I think. It gets trippy. Can Kyle Whittingham survive the brutal schedule? I am not sure. Maryland, things were going good under Mike Locksley, and now back-to-back 4-8 seasons have happened. Last year, they were 4-8, about to improve to 5-0, but they blew it. And then they just fell off. Hopefully they can improve. Maybe they can. Under Mike Locksley, because his job's on the line, folks. His job is on the line. Penn State, bring in Matt Campbell. The James Franklin era is over. A lot of Penn State fans are going to be happy about that. You bring in all those Iowa State players. Cakewalk schedule, like 3 tough games. I have them losing all 3, but if you win one of those games, 10-2, probably not playoffs. But if you win 2 of those games, 11-1, maybe playoffs. And then Indiana to conclude. Are they I don't know if. Looking at them, I say about preseason ranked 6th, about a 10-2 record prediction. That sounds right. That's kind of how I look at it. But then when you realize, year 1, Curt Cignetti felt Indiana wasn't being hyped up enough. Okay, he took him to the playoffs. Then after that, he's like, what the heck? We still aren't considered. We're outside of the top 20. What the heck? We just made the playoffs. Shouldn't we be in the preseason top 12? So he felt disrespected, and he was like, okay, I'll win a national championship. And now he's like, we just won 16-0, won our conference and won the national championship, and we're not even in the top 5. So, like, looking at Indiana, I agree with 6th. But are we really still going to disrespect Curt Cignetti? I don't know. They could come out on fire. I can see 16-0 national champions. Because looking at them, I don't think they can replicate last year. But knowing Curt Cignetti and how he just keeps on shocking college football. Oh, it was a fluke in year 1. Oh. And now we're kind of sitting here saying, fluke. They can't legitimately win a national championship. I don't think they can win a national championship. But I'm also thinking, guys, this is Curt Cignetti. What are we talking about? Are we insane? So yeah. Craziness there. That is it for this episode of Big Ten Wednesday. But before we wrap it up, let's get to the trivia question of the day. The category is the run game. Which Panther holds the team's single season records for rushing yards and touchdowns? Is it A, Dante Foreman, B, Christian McCaffrey, C, Chuba Hubbard, D, D'Angelo Russell, or E, Jonathan Stewart? The answer to the trivia question is D, D'Angelo Williams. Williams set the Panthers' record with 1,515 rushing yards in 2008. He also set a team mark that year with 20 touchdowns, 18 of which were rushing. He also has the club's single-game rushing record with 210 yards on December 30th, 2012. That is the answer to your trivia question for Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Big Ten Wednesday. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, I would really appreciate it if you would like to subscribe. Looking to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Still a long way there. And tune in tomorrow for SEC Thursday. We'll talk about all the SEC teams. But until then, stay safe and peace.